GTII continuing its downside like we expected. Let's go ahead and go over the details to gain a true edge actually for tomorrow's session. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with a GTII technicals and raw price action thread of analysis on this fine Thursday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community and Discord called ARCab. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right into the charts. Okay, so yes, we're looking at a GTII on the 5-day chart here, and you can see that we actually have used our bottom side of the support range that we've had for quite some time now very accurately. Now, another reason this support range was another reason this support range was drawn was particular to the 200-day simple moving average, and we have used that today as a form of support before a continuation to the upside. Okay, so now we must pay very close attention at the fact that we are now facing a very heavy resistance, not only from our newly converted resistance into support. I'm sorry, support into now a resistance from the descending channel, which is right over here, this large channel. Not only are we facing the resistance from that channel, but we also are facing a resistance from a golden mean, and that's the 2.618 located at about 9109. Okay, so that is a significant area of resistance that is going to be very difficult to combat. Another thing is that we have essentially already came back to test our newly converted support into resistance from our rising wedge. Okay, so that's another reason that we can expect some downside continuation. Okay, so the next relevant target to kind of eyeball would be essentially the 3.618 at about 63, almost 63 cents. Yeah, that's almost about 63 cents. That would be an area of a potential accumulation. Okay, as I have talked about this area being that other area of support before a continuation onto the upside. Okay, so if you remember correctly, we've been talking about 45 or 46 cents to about 64 cents. Okay, and why 64 cents, or why around this target, is simply because that's kind of how you take a price objective based on this rising wedge. Okay, so the way you do that is that you take a trend line from the top of the triangle to the bottom side of that triangle on the breakout candle area. Okay, so from there we can actually now imply this trend line here, and then now we can see that this trend line is landing right at that 3.618. Okay, 64 cents, 65, right around there. Or let's see, well, this one's very close to 63 cents. So now the trend line is actually at about 65 cents, just probably, yeah, middle of 65 cents, right around there. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next chart, as this is where that range can actually be seen a little bit clearer. Okay, so the bottom side of the target that I was looking at based on our previous candle lows and the confluence of all of these 3-day iteration candles, right, is about 45, 46 cents. But that 64 cent range is also a possibility. Okay, so let's just go ahead and jot down where that area can be seen. Okay, so 64 could be right around here. I'll do it at the safe side at about 65, right? So yeah, let's draw it like this. And now we can have this support box here as an area for reaccumulation. Okay, now that 64 or 65 cent range is also very much in confluence with all of these candle supports and the supports of this candle here and this candle right over here. Okay, so that's also a very relevant area to find some support. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to go all the way down to the 45 or 46 cent level. It just means that we have a range to look out for. So oh, and actually this actually reminds me of something. I think his name is Captain Diamond Hands, I think. Now he actually made a response video that I absolutely respect, and I love that he did that, because this is essentially the way that things should be looked at. If you disagree with me, it doesn't mean that you have to be disrespectful to me. It actually just means that you can actually make a response video or reply back to me on on a comment, respectfully denying or invalidating what I'm saying. It does not mean that this has to be some like fight or anything. We're talking about professional things here. We have to be collected and you know, well, so it's me to speak, right? Because yesterday was not essentially. Yesterday's GTII video was essentially not that collected, right? But that pressure can get to human beings, as I am one. Okay, so big props to Counselor Diamond Hands, and yeah, go ahead and check out his YouTube. He actually replied. I'll try to leave his link in the description below so that you can see and understand or listen to the response regarding my GTII analysis. Okay, you guys, I would highly encourage that. Say hi to him, show him some support, as he's very kind to respond in the manner that he did. Okay, you guys. So let's go ahead and move on to the last part of the analysis, as this is the RSI, and it's still sitting in the same area that we've been talking about for quite some time. So these are several drives of both hidden and regular bearish divergence, and divergence is the opposition of price action versus momentum. Okay, so in this case, you can see that the 12-hour RSI is now entering the bear strength percentile. Okay, so this is the diagram here with those zones for you to take a gander at while I speak of them, right? So yeah, we're entering now into the bear strength percentile. The pivot is not so strong, which means that GTII is starting to find maybe a consolidation area, maybe an area to consider a possible break. I'm not sure what it could be. I hear that there's some good news coming out, which is very good for the GTII asset. Please remember that I'm still long this stock, and yeah, I would love to see some gains. All right, as I'm sure everyone else will too. Okay, so now let's go ahead and open up a multi-pane and finish off this analysis. And we're gonna start just like we always do with the 30-minute immediate short-term time frame. Okay, so you can actually see that there is some upside to be expected in the immediate short term, and it's pretty aggressive, but this is likely to live out pretty fast. Okay, now the buy daily is also showing some promise as well. Please know that the purple line is the RSI signal, and the pink line represents a 14-day simple moving average, which is very standard to any RSI setup. Okay, so now we're approaching that junction between the bear strength and the bear weakness, which usually means a push to the upside is likely. Okay, so this is among the few times that we've actually broken out of that 14-day moving average. As you can see here, we've been using it as a form of resistance and a guide to the way down, so that's a very good sign. Okay, now the 6-hour time frame is suggesting some upside as well. However, I am seeing that we're what could be considered as the gravitational zone, okay, which the bear weakness percentile has. Every zone has. It's just in the shallow areas, in deep areas of every zone. Okay, so we are in the deep areas of the bear weakness percentile, and you can see that we have not only the resistance from the 14-day, but also the resistance of that probably around 42% RSI, which is still gravitational. Okay, so meaning that we can face a resistance from both those resistances and then continue on this sideways trading action. Okay, as you can see, we have been doing now for a couple days now. Okay, so now the daily time frame is suggesting a slight bearishness, slight bullishness. So this is we don't want to be below the 14-day moving average, okay? And also we definitely don't want to be at the deep areas of the bear weakness, as this can suggest the gravitational pull into bear strength, okay? So there is a kind of a risk there in the daily. Now the buy daily is suggesting a limited downside, okay? So it looks like we are going to face some support down here at the 14-day moving average, which is actually now in accordance of what we're speaking of within the triangle chart, right? This one right over here, that the limited downside could be limited to maybe around this area here. Okay, so let's go ahead and now move on to I just want to see the 3-day still suggesting downside. And now the pivot on the 5-day is weakening. It's showing that maybe the bear strength is not as or the bear pressure is not as significant anymore. Okay, so bi-weekly and monthly, of course, they're going to still show some downside, but that's not to be expected yet. That's very much weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and away. All right, you guys. So please know I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment. I need you to do your own DD, and everything will be just fine. Okay, you guys. But yes, as of the immediate short term, I can see a continuation to the upside very, I mean, ever so slightly. Okay, so if I'm being very discretionary about it, I can see the upside potentially land at about. Again, in a discretionary manner, anywhere between 91 cents to about 95 cents at the very top to test our resistances here. Okay, if we do make a more of an upside, which I think would be a little less probabilistic, would be between 105 and about 101. Okay, so that would be the areas that we should take into consideration. But a good thing is that so far this 5-day candle, which by the way has 4 hours, I'm sorry, 4 days and 22 hours to close, which is an eternity, is printing. Is so far it just looks indecisive, right? So the battle between the bears and the bulls is in a sense a little equal right now. Okay, so if you need to get in touch with me, I know that it's taken me a while to get in touch with everybody, but I trust me when I say that I will try my best to do so as the comments and messages are starting to accumulate in great numbers. Okay, and I really appreciate everybody's support. If you, so just consider going to the description below, as I will have the links to Twitter and Discord there. Okay, you guys. So with that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.